Welcome back, friends. Recently, I had the great opportunity of speaking with 4 candidates for the Metropolitan School District of North Posey County. In this interview, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Vince Oakley, who is currently on the board and running for re-election. I want to thank all participants for taking the time out of their day and speaking with us. The interviews have been edited for sound levels only, and we will run each interview in its entirety. I hope you enjoy the interview. I know I learned a lot. All right, welcome back, friends. Today we're here with Vince Oakley. He's a candidate for the Metropolitan School District of North Posey County, where he currently holds a seat on the board and is up for re-election. Vince, if you would, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I've been on the board for 6 years. After the consolidation with New Harmony, all 5 board seats came up for re-election the same year, which was 2014. And I was fortunate enough to get a seat in that election the first time I ran.
Awesome.
I am married to my wife, Amber. We've been married for 17 years. She is in her 19th year of teaching elementary school, 11 which have been at North Elementary. We have 14-year-old twins, Caitlin and Brant, who are 8th graders at North Posey Junior High. Samuel is 9. He is in the 3rd grade at North Elementary. And we also have Sawyer, who just turned 2.
Awesome. What got you interested in serving on the school board?
I went to college to be a teacher. I have a degree in social science, secondary education, and history. And it was always my plan to be a history teacher. I wanted to teach history and coach football. And I did that for 1 year. And then this opportunity came up on the Evansville Fire Department, which got me back closer to home. And I honestly don't regret that decision at all. But being on the school board is a way for me to continue to be involved in education.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what skills or experiences qualify you to be a school board member?
Well, having a degree in education, I guess, is probably different from most folks on the school board. So I do have that background where I've been in the classroom and seen things from that side. And I was actually surprised being on the school board how much different it is, and how you don't get the feedback from the classroom level that you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
What we get on the school board is basically from the administration level explaining to us what's going on. And at home, I see the other side of things since my wife is in the classroom. So I think that's kind of a unique perspective that I have that other candidates don't.
Right. So what do you see as the current challenges or areas of concern facing public education in our state and in our district, and what do you think we can do about that?
Okay. 6 years ago when I first ran, one of the main reasons that I ran was because I was watching politicians move control away from our local level. About 2009, the state came in and took full control over the budget for your local school corporations. And by that, I mean, before that, your school board could raise taxes, and that money directly went into the funds of that school corporation. After 2009, all of the property tax money that's brought in goes to Indianapolis, and they decide how to reapportion that back out to the districts. In my opinion, education, like most things, should be a local matter. And ensuring a local voice in education, I think, is essential to keeping control over what our kids are learning. By federalizing education, what's happened is we've kind of gone into a one-size-fits-all education model, and students and teachers are individuals and will not succeed when you make them conform in this way. And I think the same can be said of school corporations.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the primary purpose of public education is to produce informed citizens. Uh, your students should graduate with a base set of skills and knowledge to where they can be successful inside the classroom or at a job. And I think that's something that we're doing well at North Posey, and I hope to continue that.
Absolutely. So, the morning of November 4th, let's say you wake up and it looks like you've been reelected. What are going to be your top priorities for the school district to address?
My number one, well, first you have to understand that the school board, that's your big picture people.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't involved in the daily management of the schools. That's why we hire the superintendent. By statute, the job of your school board is to hire the superintendent and to make policies, which are your broad ideas. And then it's up to the superintendent to figure out how to implement those. And I think one of the things that we have struggled on over the last 6 years is having a long-term plan to where the folks in our community know what's on the horizon. And that's my number one goal is, if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected to another term, is to see a 5-year plan put in place to where our taxpayers can look at that and see this is where North Posey is going over the next 5 years. We've done a lot of big projects over the last 6 years, and I think a lot of those have kind of been sprung on the public to where they didn't really see it coming. And honestly, as a school board member, I didn't really see it coming either. And I think when you're using folks' tax dollars, hard-earned tax dollars, they deserve to see what's coming, and to have a voice in that, to where it's not just all of a sudden we're voting for a $7 million project that nobody got to put their 2 cents in for.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see that 5-year plan put in place to where people could give input. And, I think folks are smart enough to understand that that's a working document and it's going to change. But at least we have some guidelines that everybody can see where we're going.
Absolutely. So I want to include some positive stuff in here and everything. So what would you consider some of the accomplishments that our district has been able to have, and some of the reasons that we should be proud of?
Gosh, it's an extensive list, to be honest with you. My number one thing is education. And if you look at how our students perform on all these standardized tests, which I am absolutely not a big fan of,
mm-hmm.
but we do great. And the one thing those are useful for is comparing how your corporation stacks up against neighboring districts. And we outperform just about anybody around us. Some of the private schools are close or may even do a little better, but that's an apples and oranges comparison.
Mm-hmm.
When you compare our corporation to the other corporations of similar size, our kids do great. And I think that's honestly a testament to the home life that our kids have and our communities. And the kids are brought up understanding that it takes hard work to succeed. Our teachers do a great job of also instilling that in the kids in the classrooms. So that's my number one, is just the academic performance. And you can pick out any number of our academic teams and they do great. So that's my number one.
Absolutely.
Our tax rate has stayed fairly consistent. We're more middle of the road now than we were a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, we were among the lowest anywhere in the area. We're kind of middle now, but we have kept a fairly consistent tax rate, even with the big projects. Timing wise, it worked out well with the rates that we received on these loans to keep taxes pretty consistent.
Awesome. The last thing, I'm just kind of going to kind of leave it up to you. Is there anything that we haven't covered here that you'd like to discuss or let the people know about?
Honestly, you've hit on it pretty well. The one thing I would say is never hesitate to contact your school board members anytime you have any problem, because even if it's not a school board matter, these are the people who are supposed to be the voice for the community, and they should be able to steer you in the right direction as to whether it needs to go to the teacher level, principal level, superintendent level. I mean, this is the ear of the community, is what the school board is there for, and I really wish folks would take full advantage of that. We have all of our information is available on the district website. School board meetings are all able to be attended or to be viewed on YouTube later, and I think maintaining that transparency is key at any level of government, especially school board level. But I just want to encourage folks to contact their elected officials at all levels and to stay involved with what's going on. And I know it's difficult when you work full time and have multiple kids doing multiple activities, but at every level, it is very important to stay engaged.
Absolutely, and we're big fans of that here on the page. Here, we've tried to advocate for everybody to get involved and to stay informed about the local government issues.
Absolutely, yes.
And we're going to continue to push for that on a weekly basis. I've been starting to do a kind of like a weekly wrap up of different meetings and things I've been able to attend or watch virtually and continue that way. But Vince, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us, and I wish you luck on the upcoming election.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, and keep up the good work.
All right, appreciate that.